Welcome everyone to my brief review on this Johnson framing square or carpenter square model number CS1, proudly made in the USA. In this video I will look at the features of this square, just plain eye observations, and we'll discuss what observations I have. Not going to construct or build anything with this or measure anything scientifically, but there will be some measurements and a little bit of comparison here. Let's get going. This is a steel square and it weighs a lot, as it is a steel square. I picked it up at the local hardware store on a special $2.99. I think that's how much it's actually worth, because there's no way I'm paying $15.99 for a square that's made this way. Like I said, it's steel, it's heavy, so it's 750 grams. I put it on a scale at the post office, and so it's an actual precise number, 26 ounces, so that's 1 pound 10 ounces and a half. It's heavy. The point or advantage of being heavy is it helps your layout. You put the square down and you're less likely to dislodge it while you're drawing a line along it. So, weight helps the layout. Does it help lugging it all day long? No, it doesn't. But, that's a trade-off. So, the square comes with 3 holes, nail holes, so you can hang it on a wall. That's nice. Some of the squares only come with 1, maybe in the middle. I like the numbers on it. I like its simple design, so it's clear. It doesn't have confusing rafter tables on it or anything I don't need. I just want to see the numbers, and the numbers are nice. They have a nice font. Let me just pull my manicure needle out from there. The fonts are very nice. The numbers are large, easy to read, and the grooves are nice and deep. So all edges on all sides of the framing square are graduated in 1/8 of an inch consistently. I like it. 1/16 would be nice, but they don't cost money. But I like the numbers, the layout of the tool, so that it doesn't have too many confusing lines and numbers and digits on it. You can see some other numbers here on it. This 21, 20, 19, its numbers are rotated sideways 90 degrees, and they start at the other end of things, and 21, 2, 3, 4, it's 24 inches long in this direction, so it's just easier to read some numbers. But these numbers, this 20 and 21, only work with the numbers on this outside edge, the edge closer to you, because on this inside edge they don't line up. They are between 1 and 2 or 2 or 3, so these numbers in the middle only work with the outside edge or edges, because it's the same on the other side. The grooves on that make the, let me just change hands, just give me a sec here. The grooves that make these numbers and the rulers are nice and deep. I like the fact, maybe in good light we can catch a little bit of this, how deep it is in the metal. You get the idea. So I like I like the depth of these lines. So that's pretty much where the good things run out. What I don't like about it is that, of course, it's steel, so how long is that going to last in rain? Not a lot, but if you're not working in much rain or frequent rain, you might be able to keep it clean and clear and free of dust and rust. And at the Pacific Northwest here, yeah, that's not happening. We have 10 months of rain out of 12 or so. I'm just rounding up maybe to the nearest 10 a little bit. But anyhow, so in any weather it's just not going to work if you have to carry it. Now you should be doing your layout indoors typically or ideally, but building stairs and making angled cuts on roof rafters, they don't necessarily happen in dry environments, especially, like I said, in the Pacific Northwest here. They are bound to happen in wet weather. So with that aside, the manufacturer varnished the whole tool, coated it, both sides, with varnish to keep it from corroding. Does it help? I don't know. If I'm looking at these strange lines, that some of them are darker, some of them are lighter patches, it's just not confidence inspiring, you know, especially that on the other side of it. And I spent like 20 minutes in the store just to find one that doesn't look too ugly. You can see it's even worse here, and this old newspaper yellowish brown or old tea bag color, it looks like rust. So either the varnish is breaking down or absorbing reacting moisture or with oxygen or something, or the steel is corroding underneath. I don't get it. But and this has never been in rain. This has only been in the store at the hardware retailer where I picked it up, and has only been in class. So there is atmospheric, you know, moisture, water vapor in the air, but this is not improving on its own. These streaks are just bothering me. So that's a problem of steel squares. Can manufacturers make something to last forever? No, they can't. So for $2.99, I say good enough. There is two other concerns with this one that I haven't mentioned. Another one is visible on this edge here. The edge, because of the varnishing, the edge is sometimes lumpy. You can also see some rust spots on it, but the varnish is sometimes doubly thick. In some spots you can see there in the middle of the picture or so, and it's very lumpy and crudely made. And there I'm just glistening light differently. So what's gonna mean that it's doubly protected at the edge at the same time, but also if you're pulling a straight line, it's gonna be somewhat lumpy. Now, given your carpenter's pencils are already thick, is it gonna matter much? Probably not. And a framing square is not a precision instrument anyhow. For doing layouts, you shouldn't exceed the size of this framing square for squaring a corner. So if anything is longer than this, you should do a geometric squaring or some other way of squaring and not relying on this one. So don't exceed the instrument's capability. For now, this is an instrument. And so don't square a 300-foot long building or a football pitch with this one. And you can only square something that's 16 inches by 24 inches maximum, alright? And if you're laying out angled cuts, it's accurate enough for that. So that's where the last concern of mine lays. Let me just put you on this tripod here so I can use both of my hands. It's got some problems. Let's just stare on a patch of wall there and come a little further away. See, when I put another square next to it, this aluminum square, by the way, which weighs half as much as the steel square, you see what happens here is this. What I'm doing is seesawing here. I'm pushing down there. I'm pushing down on the end of the aluminum square up top here, made by Starrett, and this is what happens. Neither of these squares have been outdoors for any length of time other than putting it in the car and transporting. So you see, the edge is seesawing somewhere around the 14-inch mark. Oh, I lost it there. But yeah, that's not normal. And how bad is it? Let's see here where it's the worst. Let me just push down on it. There, it's that much. It's a steady, I don't know, it's a gap. It's like a 3mm gap, about almost 1/8 of an inch. So something's wrong with the edge of this Johnson square, but that's not normal. The shorter edge is also out. You can see the two squares touching here, being in contact, and as we go further down, let me just change hands. As we go further down here, a gap opens up. You can see the gap between the two of them. There, I'm not making this up. You see my hand behind it. It's not a huge gap, but I'm concerned. The two squares are in full contact for the first 2 inches there. So that's how they look. So I'm not sure about this Johnson square, and the same story repeats on the inner surfaces. There is no seesawing here. These two edges both lie flat, so that's fine, but again we have a gap here starting at the corner where everything is fine, and there is a little bit of gappage. Let's see, a little bit of gappage between the two of them there. Alright, let's get closer. Not a whole lot. The gap is tapering to open there. You see it's opening there, and that's where the gap is the widest, about 1 millimeter there. So it's not too tragic, but there they are in contact here at the corner with a gap of about 1 millimeter there. So what's my conclusion about this Johnson square made in the US? I guess they could have made a straight edge or a straighter edge there. Especially this top one was bad, so I don't know what's going on here, and I don't really want to figure it out either. But for $2.99, I'm not gonna work on a return on this one. I guess it's a mediocre square for a non-precision tool. Other than the instrument's own accuracy, the biggest issue with doing layout, you should know how to use it. You should know how to use, how to make angled cuts with it, and how to lay out a stair. But beyond the instrument being crudely made and obviously out of square, you should do layout in a manner that doesn't multiply these instrument errors, and that comes down to layout practices. So but that's another video. So for $2.99, close enough. It's a keep, but Johnson Level and Square Company, please, can you make a square that's actually square? Thank you for watching.